he could be the next heavyweight champion.
If I was a betting man, I'd say he probably doesn't fight for a title again.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what fighters do.
Live on the Fight Report.
Different. It's just a totally different world.
They will promote all the fighters and we're working together.
I don't want to do it at 80% or 90%. I want to be 100, 110%.
It's been an honor to have you on the show. Welcoming UFC veteran Pete, the Secret Weapon Spratt, to the Fightlete Report. Make sure to check him out because he's a veteran of the UFC. Mr. International Shonie Carter, my co-host on the show. With Pete, with you as well, Pete. And of course, we know that you're the owner of Pete Spratt Muay Thai out in San Antonio, Texas. And of course, a veteran of Legacy FC, Fury FC, MCW, MFC, and also Hoosier Fight Club. So we appreciate you being on the Fightlete Report, man.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Appreciate you having me.
Anytime, man. I mean, you're a world travel veteran, and, you've fought in many different promotions. So just wanted to get some of your thoughts about mixed martial arts today, how it's evolved since that time. And did you feel like also Ultimate Fighter Season 4 was was good for your career? Like, talk about, how you were able to, relaunch yourself, even though, prior to that, you had fun in UFC. Talk about like being a big reality star after the show.
With the Ultimate Fighter, man, the Ultimate Fighter just completely exploded the game. Especially, just starting with season 1. And, who would have thought that we would be where we are today with mixed martial arts? It's on ESPN now. It's pretty much what some of your everyday sports stories, man. I never thought it would get to this point.
Celebrities now, A-listers want to do MMA, and they now are giving the average stuntman issues because MMA fighters can take a punch or kick, they'll go through a wall.
I mean, it don't hurt to have what is it? WMEIMG?
Man, who you telling? I'm trying to get in. I did a small extra role in Divergent. I found out how much them stunt people were making for that fake fighting per day. I was like $600 a day, and they were not doing anything. I'm like, you can punch me for $600 a day. I'll roll with it. Man, oh man. But no, it's crazy how this industry, it's because it is now a taxable, verifiable industry, a specialized skill. And the only thing I say that the new, as Pete will understand when I say this, the new kids of Kick-Ass, a lot of them are not doing the proper job outside the cage. They are doing their job training. They all train. I don't knock them. But you have to leave an indelible mark upon the minds of the fans. You must essentially market yourself. I know old ladies that knew Ronda Rousey. The beer-bellied, pot-bellied guy knows Conor McGregor. You can say those names and you know. But then you can say some of the more established kick-asses. Hey, you know who Anderson Silva is? And nothing that we know who Anderson is. In Brazil they know who he is in small circles. But you can't name to me all the champions and the top 2 or 3 contenders in each division. And it's only the fact that the new inner circle of athlete in MMA, the ones who are writing books about how they were homeless and they were struggling, they get the book deals, you know what I'm talking about. So, and I laugh because everybody has a story. Only one fighter in the new regime of MMA has a liquor deal. Imagine the secret six-pack. I mean literally. Drink international waters. I mean, it's crazy that these kids are doing, I don't mean to be derogatory but call them kids, but I'm a grandfather now. These kids are tough in the cage, but you only know their names fight week. And right now, this is an international sport. Pete, do you know who Andre Messi is?
Yeah,
You know who Pete Sampras is?
yeah,
Tiger Woods.
of course,
Steph Curry.
of course.
What was that quarterback from the Patriots? I forget his name. Brady. Right.
Who,
Right.
Cam Newton?
Right. You know, this secret weapon played football. Seriously. And it's crazy that people can say those names of other sports, is my point. Venus and Serena. Without any thing. But then you take the top guys in the other sport in MMA, you don't know their names. If you are in MMA as a fan or a coach or an athlete, you know their names. But you say a top 10, a top 5, a top 3 MMA athlete in any division to the random person, they don't know them. I told Cowboy Cerrone.
I don't know how many years, and I don't even know who they are.
Right, and it's crazy. Pete, let me tell you something. Okay, a few things that I've learned. The hood economics. Years ago, Cowboy Cerrone and I were at a guest appearance somewhere. I think it was in Minnesota. And he was signing autograph cards and giving them away. I was charging a dub. I was like, hey, $20, y'all, $20. And people were paying. But they were getting his for free. Yeah. And he said, wait a minute, you charge for your autographs? I said, they know you, but they remember me. I said, now. Wow. And that's hood economics, because essentially you can be famous for that long or a long time. But what is fame? Notoriety given to a man by other men, which soon fades. And like I said, I've known about Pete Spratt before y'all knew about Pete Spratt. I remember when Pete Spratt threw a damn spinning back fist in Brazil. Huh, Pete? When you were peeking around the corner on him? I saw that. I saw that. You peeked around the corner. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. And the thing is that all where he's at, they know who he is. But how many MMA dojos around you?
Who, my spot out here?
Yeah.
Well, it's only like 3, well, really 2 reputable. But
okay,
I mean, there's several so-called MMA gyms.
And you gotta imagine Chicago. You can't even Google MMA Illinois or Chicago and get to the bottom of the list. And even these UFC franchises, which I work for, I'm the Billy Blanks in a little while. I teach online kickboxing. And I tell people, you gotta market your business. You are the business. You are the commodity. Pete is the commodity. See what he's doing right there? Mm-hmm. Muay Thai, right there on his t-shirt. Yes. Right? And got that Ultimate Fighter sitting in the background. Yeah, I noticed that. You're damn right. That's called marketing. Right, that's the business of it.
For sure.
Man, these kids gotta learn the business of it. Make trading cards and sell them for $10, $20 a piece. And $25 when you autograph it. For 1,000 cards, that's $25,000 on a $100 investment. Who you with? Nice. So what else been going on with you?
But you know what now, Shonie? I mean, with the exposure of the sport and with everything that's going on today, man, they shouldn't have to do that. You know what I'm saying?
They should be getting paid a lot more.
Exactly. I mean, they're probably taking what 15% at the most of the total revenue that the UFC is bringing in. The fighters are getting.
Dude, it's crazy.
And you look at boxers, they take 70 to 75% home of total revenue.
Right.
And they get all the merchandising and all of that stuff.
People, remember we didn't get challenges, financial challenges, and it really woke me up when I was coming home. I was we flew into O'Hare. A group of Russian women, very Russian. They had just landed in Russia. And they said, oh my God, Shonie Carter, we loved you in Russia. And I took the pictures, be nice to the fans, especially them fans. But what it woke my eyes up is that they saw me in Russia. The distribution rights to video production was in Russia. Just the idea of remember the DVD set? If we had got 1% of the documented sales, the registered sales, each of us, 1%. Pete, you own the block. You own the block. Okay, I may have 3/4 of the block because Texas is higher in Chicago than where you at. But the fact is that like you said, the revenue what basketball players make per game.
Right.
Yeah. And these are other athletes and actors and actresses. They come to sit in their they sit in those front row seats, ogling over MMA fighters.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
Halle Berry, she went to the past couple
Dude,
UFC.
she's training for some movie with an MMA fighter.
Yeah, Valentina Shevchenko. Yeah.
Right. And I laugh because the fighters, I can't tell you how many photos I got with all of them. Mm-hmm. Okay, I didn't get Shaq and Mariah, but she blazes a lot. But anyway, the fighters need to understand that this is a business. Mm-hmm. And because literally, I remember I tried to get an energy drink for myself made, and not having that proper management or someone to go to bat for me. Yes. But yet I saw it, and years ago I saw this before podcasts. Pete was still a secret to everybody else, just like for Emelianenko and Anderson Silva. And it's crazy that we knew how to fight, but the business end. And that's what seminars should be about. Just like classes in school. Who gives a damn about the past, all that other garbage? Learn how to make money, keep money, and make money, make your money. Because essentially, the idea of money in your pocket off of a purse, or a $500,000 purse, like when Kobe Covington lost to Usman, was it? Yeah. He made $500,000 losing. My first UFC, I made $500 winning, $500 a show up. It was $1,000, and that's nothing by today's standard or any standard.
That's crazy.
No, it is. Yeah. It is. Yeah. Fuck those. I hate to sound mean and say fuck those belts, but literally, if you don't fight for the belt. You fight to make money off of that fight before you get in that fight.
Pete, I want to ask you on that topic. You know, we see now UFC fighters liking not to fight, wanting more money. You know, similarly, I feel like similar to you, when you were offered the title fight with Matt Hughes, you did pass on that fight because your money wasn't acceptable for you. And, you know, obviously, you know, talk about what's your take on what's going on, because this is a precedent that, you know, you had witnessed as well when you were in the UFC.
I mean, it can be fixed. It can definitely be fixed.
It should have been fixed.
But the thing is, the fighters will not unite to be able to fix it. That's the issue. Yep. There's always going to be one. There's always going to be somebody that's going to take lesser money just to jump into that spot. So now, if we get the fighters to come together collectively and go, because I've been to DC and lobby for this particular thing right here. What we need in mixed martial arts is we need the Muhammad Ali Boxing Act to cover mixed martial arts as well. So now, from that aspect, now we'll be able to start seeing some of the benefits and everything that the boxers do. Because, you know, when you show up to fight at the UFC, there's a sponsor logo on your shorts, and they tell you don't worry about it. Why wouldn't I worry about it? Because if you're going to be putting this logo on my shorts and I'm going to be out there fighting, I should be getting a piece of that.
Right.
The fighters get nothing.
Dude, that's crazy.
Get nothing.
That's crazy.
Right.
And so, you know, you got John Jones and Masvidal and all of those, you know, they're finally seeing the light, but yet they won't do what it takes to fix it. And really what they need to do is they need to go to DC and lobby. Like, I've already been to DC and lobby. I've been with the Mixed Martial Arts Fighters Association, but now for almost 3 years now. I went to DC and I put my time into DC. And, you know, but, you know, one of the things that kind of hurts is because, for one reason, Dana White and Donald Trump are boys. Right. So even if we get it passed through the House and the Senate, the House and the Senate, he might veto that bill.
Hey, Pete, unfortunately, I got to run. I'm sorry, I just caught something. Oh my God, and I want to sit there and rap with you because this is a conversation we need to be having. Damn. Yeah,
Well, appreciate you coming in.
we
Sean.
gotta get back. I want to do more of this with you, and I want to talk with you. Sean, give Pete my number.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because we're going to talk about it, 'cause it came right at the wrong time.
Yeah, perfect.
All right?
All right, take it. Be safe.
All right,
Be
thanks,
safe.
Shonie.
All right,
All right,
well, definitely, I
All right,
hear everything that you guys are saying, man, is making sense. Obviously, why not? You guys get the same as treatment as the professional athletes in other combat sports.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, right now the way the structure, because I don't even consider MMA a sport. For me, it's not a sport because they don't get paid like other athletes in sports. When you talk about certain sports, you talk about the MLB, you talk about the NBA, you talk about the NFL. But when the average person, when you say something about MMA, this is what they say. You talk about that UFC stuff. UFC is not the sport, which they strategically monopolized it to where if you mention UFC, they think that is the sport. And they've
Right.
intentionally done that. They've done a great job of doing that and marketing that and branding that. So now everybody thinks UFC is the sport. UFC is not the sport. If you pull up the ESPN app, you'll see all the different categories for sports, and then it'll say UFC. But it shouldn't say UFC. It should say MMA because MMA is supposed to be the sport. UFC is not a sport. They're a promotion.
For sure. I mean, I'm sure you would like to be recognized as a mixed martial arts fighter, not a former UFC fighter, obviously. So definitely I hear what you're saying on that one. You defeated Robbie Lawler, so talk about that fight, man. He was obviously, he's going to be a future Hall of Famer soon, a legend, but your thoughts on how that win elevated your career? And maybe if you would have, because you dominated him, right? So, you left no doubt where, they needed to see a rematch.
I mean, he quit. He quit. So there was no doubt he quit. He raised his hand. He said, "I'm done." So, but I knew I was going to beat him. That was the fight that I wanted. Probably my second fight in the UFC. I fought Zach Light, and then I wanted to fight Robbie Lawler. Because to my understanding, when we signed, they told me that these first 3 fights is what we were going to use to build your career. I'm like, all right, cool. So then I beat Zach Light by submission. And then the next fight, they offered me the former champion, Carlos Newton. It's like, wait a minute, how is that building my career? Like, you gonna throw me in my second fight in the UFC against the former world champion? Like, how does that make sense? But again, that goes into these false rankings because each promotion has the ranking. There's a lot of great fighters around the world. Right. Some fighters are not recognized because they're not in the UFC. Mm-hmm. It's some bad dude. Douglas Lima is one bad dude from Bellator. I think he can kick it with the best of them that's over in the UFC. But he doesn't get that recognition because he's not with the UFC.
Right.
And with boxing, you have an independent, a party that does the rankings, independent party that has the belts, that controls the belts, and then you're signed with the promotion. And the issue is, and this is illegal by the Muhammad Ali Act. This is illegal. A promotion cannot control the rankings, they cannot control the belt, and they cannot control the fighters all at once. UFC has their group of fighters, UFC has their own belt, UFC has their own ranking. It's illegal. That's illegal. So how is there any bias, or how can you control the ranking and the belt and the people that earn the opportunity? Because if you look at it over the years, if one of the champions is hurt and they don't want to strip him of the title, they'll make an interim title. Mm-hmm. Just like that. There's been so many interim titles, you don't even know who the champ is.
It's true, man.
You know what I'm saying? Now, if you had an independent body that was doing the rankings and an independent body with the belt, and then your fighters assigned to the UFC, then it makes much more sense because those guys are ranked. They can fight their way up. But, Conor McGregor can be in retirement for 2 years, jump in and fight, and jump ahead of the guys that's ranked and fight for the title. You know what I'm saying? That's entertainment. That's an entertainment business. That's not true sport. It's not set up as a true sport. And so that's the thing that bothers me most about the UFC situation. But I mean, but that again all goes back to me being thrown in with Carlos Newton in my second fight in the UFC.
Right.
Like how? Like I'm unranked.
Wow.
So why am I fighting the number one contender and the former champion? You know, I wanted to fight the guy that was coming up and making the noise, and he was new on his contract. He probably, maybe 4 or 5 fights in, but that was more of a feasible fight for me, and I knew I could win that fight. But they told me you can either fight Carlos Newton or we don't know when we'll have you back. So now I'm in a situation of do I have to sit on the sideline and not make any money, or do I have to do what they say? And so I did what they said. I fought Carlos, lost to Carlos. This is my second fight on my contract. Then the next fight, they said, okay, you can fight Robbie Lawler. Okay, he was destroying everybody. So they figured third fight on his contract, Lawler beats him. He don't have any more fights left. We cut him loose.
Oh, wow.
That's what the thinking was. That was my thinking on it. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's the way I'm thinking that it was playing out. But I threw a reach in the motor by beating Robbie Lawler. Okay, so now, I'm fighting a guy that's more on the same level as me. I fought, Robbie, same level. Okay, then the next fight, oh, now you can fight the champion. Okay, I'll fight the champion. How much is the champion making for this fight? 50 and 50. Okay, I'll fight him for 25, and then my offer was 8 and 8. Mm-hmm. I said no. We said no. We kind of offered with 25 plus 8, just half of what half of his guarantee, just half of his guarantee, and we would keep the 8,000 win bonus. They said no. I said, see ya.
Right. And we were robbed of the second fight. Yeah. I
mean, pimp me once, shame on you. Pimp me twice, shame on me. I'm not doing it again. I'm not doing it. So it doesn't mean that much to me like it does a lot of other people. So if people ask me, do you ever regret the decision? No, I don't regret it because I wasn't going to be treated like no hoe. Mm-hmm. It's plain and simple. I'm not that dude. So no, you weren't going to force me to keep doing things that I didn't want to do that didn't make sense for me financially. And so that's how that went.
Hey, it makes a lot of sense, what you're saying. So we'll talk about the current pandemic and, reopening your gym now, the social distancing, face masks, what I saw from social media. And then obviously, a lot of your fighters, their careers have been put on hold that are associated with the gym. So talk about those daily challenges.
Oh, man, I got one. I got a 25er. I mean, maybe I'm biased, but I think he's the best 125er in Texas right now. I know he's the best 125er in the city. But he should be on the contender or in the UFC right now.
Okay.
And the only thing that's preventing him from being there right now is he doesn't have a belt at a regional promotion. He was supposed to fight for the title. He got hurt. He couldn't fight for the title. And the guy that he was going to fight just got pulled up to do the contender. So that tells me where he is. I mean, he's right there. He's right there on the cusp. And but the opening back up it's been different. But surprisingly, on average, we've been signing up just from my Muay Thai classes. We've been signing up 1 to 2 people a week since we reopened. Okay. So it's really not bad. I saw a lot of gyms that basically just jumped when we got the okay to reopen, just basically jumped back into it like they were before we had to go through the shutdown. And everybody's partnered up and hugging and sweating and all of that stuff. And we still got social distancing protocols in place. You can only train together if you trust that person or if you've trained with that person during the quarantine, or you live in the same household. But for the most part, we're still focusing on social distancing, and that's allowing a lot of people to work on their form and work on their technique. Because that's a lot of times you don't get to focus specifically on that because you're going with the partner and you're just kind of moving on. But now you have to sit. It's basically like perfecting your shadow box. and so you have to be perfect with the technique. And so I think that's helped a lot of people. And plus, they're getting a pretty good cardio workout. Most of the people leave sweating anyway. And but we don't have to. We don't wear the mask. You don't have to wear the mask during the class. You can pull it down to allow yourself to breathe a little bit. But for the most part, man, it's been okay. I mean, I can't complain. Actually got another person that's probably going to sign up again next week. I had 3 people sign up last week. So, I mean, it's different, but you know, I've been increasing my enrollment.
For sure. Well, I appreciate you again being on the Fightlete Report, Pete. I know you got another interview coming up, but just also, you know, what did you think about St. Pierre being inducted in Hall of Fame? Any thoughts on that? I know you had a fight with him.
No, man. I mean, it's well deserved, well earned. GSP, man. GSP is one of the good dudes in the sport, man. And I respect that guy. And you know, it's well deserved. And you know, he's if not the best welterweight ever, he's definitely one of the best. You know, so he definitely deserves it.
For sure, man. And I appreciate you again being on the show. Of course, it was fun talking to you and Shonie as well. We'll have to invite both of you back on the Fightlete Report. But if there's anyone you'd like to thank, anything you'd like to plug social media-wise, go ahead.
Oh, man, I just want to say thanks to you, man, for having me on. Thanks to my boy Shonie for looking out. If you want to reach me, you can check me out at P Spratt Muay Thai on IG. I am P Spratt on IG. I'm private. My personal page is private, so if you want to follow me, you're going to have to request me at I am P Spratt. And then you can follow me at P Spratt on Facebook, man. I usually post a lot of stuff on there, so you'll be able to keep up and keep track of me there. Other than that, man, just everybody practice social distancing, stay safe, wash your hands, and do all that good stuff, man. Let's make it through this pandemic.
Definitely. Hopefully you get through it. Hopefully you can actually, you know, meet up one day. Hopefully some fights coming on. You know, I actually cover Hoosier Fight Club. That's why I mentioned them. I know you competed for them before.
It's funny, man. I think Shonie cornered me for that fight.
Oh, he did. Okay.
I think my corner couldn't make it or something, and you know, me and Shonie, we're like old school, man. And if we sign a contract and we say we're gonna be there, we're gonna be there regardless whether we got a corner or not. So I had to hit him up and say, "Hey, man, you gonna be around? I need you to come corner me." And he came out and cornered me, man. So it was cool. It was cool.
Definitely. Well, Pete, best of luck to you and your fighters, you know, upcoming. And you're welcome on the show as well. And we appreciate your time being on the Fightlete Report.
Sure thing, my man. Anytime.
Anytime. Take care.